They had crushed kingdoms without mercy. Cities burned, empires folded. Then in the frozen north, they met warriors who refused to break. For decades, this force had moved like a storm across the world. Not loud, not chaotic, precise. They didn't conquer with rage. They conquered with patience, fear, and memory. Once they passed through your land, nothing stood back up the same way. Kings surrendered before seeing their banners. Walls opened without a fight. Entire civilizations chose survival over resistance. But in the far north, along cold rivers and forested coastlines, something felt different. The people there had grown up with hardship. Cold shaped them. Hunger tested them. And war was not an event. It was a condition of life. These were descendants of raiders, traders, and mercenaries. Men who believed death was not the end, but a judgment. And when word arrived that the unstoppable army was coming, they didn't run. They prepared. The invaders arrived the way they always did. Quiet at first. Scouts appeared on the horizon. Fast riders, silent observers. They studied the land, not the enemy. Rivers, ice, forest paths. They didn't rush. They never did. They had destroyed empires stronger than this. Civilizations richer, armies larger. This place, by comparison, looked small. Scattered settlements, wooden defenses, cold winds and narrow waterways. It should have been easy, but the North does not fight fair. The defenders knew the rivers. They knew when ice could carry weight, and when it would betray it. They knew how sound traveled over snow, how fog hugged the water at dawn. They didn't gather in massive formations. They didn't shout challenges. They waited. The first clash didn't feel like a battle, more like confusion. A scouting force advanced and didn't return. Then another. Then silence. The invaders began to move carefully now. Too carefully. Their strength had always been momentum. Speed, fear, relentless pressure. Here, every step felt watched. When fighting finally erupted, it was sudden and close. Steel against shields, axes biting into armor. No grand charges, no sweeping maneuvers, just brutal personal violence. The northern warriors didn't panic when surrounded. They pressed forward. Even wounded, even outnumbered. To the invaders, this was unsettling. These men did not beg. They did not retreat easily. And they did not fear death the way others had. When pushed back, they fell into forests and along riverbanks, places cavalry could not dominate. Horses slipped, formations broke. And for the first time in years, the unstoppable force was forced to adapt. They tried intimidation. It failed. They tried negotiation. It went unanswered. They tried to provoke surrender by destruction. Villages burned, but resistance only hardened. This was not defiance born of arrogance. It was something colder. A belief that some things were worse than dying. As days passed, losses mounted. Not catastrophic, but unfamiliar. Every advance cost more than expected. Every night brought tension. The invaders had faced armies. They had not faced this kind of refusal. Eventually, the decision came. Not to push deeper, not now. They withdrew, not in panic, not in defeat, but with caution, and that alone sent a message across the world. The North was not untouched. Blood soaked the snow. Settlements were scarred, lives were lost. But something else remained. A reputation. Word spread quietly, not as a tale of victory, but of resistance. That this land did not collapse on command. That its warriors fought without illusion and without fear. The invaders would return to many places. They would crush more armies. They would reshape the world. But the North was never forgotten, not because it won, but because it did not yield easily. Sometimes survival is not about defeating the enemy. It's about convincing them the cost is too high. Empires remember resistance longer than surrender. And long after the banners vanished into the distance, the question lingered in the cold air. Not whether the invaders could have destroyed the North, but whether the North would have destroyed itself first.